Hey, YouTube Rando here. So I had a few questions from subscribers on how I prep my traps out of the box. Today we're going to show you how we do it on a small scale. So I have both my 110s in here. They're directly out of the pack. Nothing's been done to them yet. What we're going to do is we're going to let these soak in a solution. Of about 2/3 water and 1/3 vinegar. Let's go ahead and top it off. That's probably a 50-50 solution there now, which is fine. That just means it'll work a little bit faster. All we're wanting to do is we're wanting to degrease these things, get everything off of them, and leave a light layer of rust on them, just enough that the paint or dye or whatever you're going to use next. We're going to be using paint, by the way. There is a really good dye that you can get. I think it's Formula 1 trap dye or something like that. It may not be trap in there, but I know Formula 1's who makes it. However, if you're going to do that, you're going to want to be doing like 20 of these things at one time of the smaller ones, and maybe 5 to 10 of the big traps. You're not going to want to waste the dye on just a couple of traps. So we're just going to paint these in the end, and I'll show you how I do that. It's real simple. So we're just going to let it soak in this solution of vinegar and water for probably, I don't want to say a specific time, but if I had to, I'd say 48 hours should be enough. So we'll check back in 24 hours, and then we'll check back again if it's not done. We'll check again in 48 hours, and we'll let you know, just how long we went with it. So we'll be back. Alright, so it's been about 18 hours now, just shy of 24 hours. We're going to let it go another 24 hours, but I just wanted to share with you the changes that's already happened. You can see the metals turning black a little bit. But I wanted to show you, look at all the scum coming off of this trap, that rim right there, the ring, and all the stuff floating in the water. And then it's probably not going to pick it up, but there's a bunch of oil down here, right there. You can kind of see it a little bit. So we'll let it go a little bit longer. We'll come back, tell you how long it took altogether. Alright folks, so this video is going to take a little longer than I thought to finish. It's been 72 hours. I was supposed to check on these yesterday and go ahead and rinse them off and get them ready for paint. We ended up having a crawfish boil, and I twisted my ankle, and we went mudding and a bunch of other crap, so ended up not getting to it yesterday. We ended up getting home late last night, and I went straight to bed. So we're going to do it today. It's been right around 72 hours, like I said, a little bit less, probably about 68 hours, something like that. But we're not going to paint these. I was going to paint them, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to etch them like you would a knife, a high carbon steel blade. So you can see all that scum that came off this thing. Look at the edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these. We're going to rinse them down really good, and we're going to rinse this tub out because we're going to reuse this tub, and I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with them. And again, this is the first time I've ever tried this process. I've never done it before. I've always either used Formula 1 dip trap, as I said earlier, or just painted them with some, Krylon spray paint, which isn't too bad either. But we'll come back and show you what the next step is that we're going to take. Alright, so we got them cleaned up. We washed them with soap and water, washed the tub out with soap and water. Now, if I was going to paint these, I would take a piece of sandpaper and just lightly, graze the surface on all the pieces of metal. Then, if I was going to dip them, I would just make sure they're completely dry and put them in the formula dip as is. I don't ever do any sanding on them if we're just dyeing them. But we're going to try something a little different. You can see this spring right here, how dark this spring's gotten. That's from the vinegar. Just like etching a knife blade, it's going to etch this still, hopefully. I don't know, we've never tried this process before. I've been told that it works, so we are going to try it. Slip that down in there. Somehow my trap's got it all funky. Slip that down in there. Now this may take a few more days, so to whoever I told the video, this is Monday, I told somebody I'd have the video up today. It's going to take a few extra days. It'll probably be up this coming up weekend. I apologize for that. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to... if I can find it. Alright. No water in this process. We're just going to use pure vinegar. You're going to want it to go over your trap, so I'm going to get a little bit more vinegar. I'm going to top this off. Again, we'll check them in 24 hours. It usually takes about 48 hours takes 2 to 3 days to do a knife blade. So I've been told you can boil the vinegar and it takes hours instead of days. So we may try that next time we do a knife. But we're just going to do the traps how I do the blades. We'll check them in 24 hours. We'll check them in 48 hours. If they're still not done, we'll let them go one more day before we pull them. But we'll let you know at the end of this process again how long it took. Cleaning, we went 72 hours. Probably wasn't necessary. We probably could have finished that up in 2 days. It would have been done. So we'll be back. We'll be back at the 24-hour mark and show you what we have. Alright, so I should have said at the beginning of this video it was going to be an experiment. However, I didn't know. I thought I was going to paint them. And I guess I still am, because I'm looking at them. This is the 24-hour mark. And it looks like it's a really low carbon still, or, just barely has any carbon content in it. You can look at that spring there. Is actually doing what it's supposed to do. That spring's not. And then none of the rest of the trap is. So we're going to pull these out. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the video up. We'll show you what they look like when I pull them out, of course. But after that, just hang them and paint them. Get you a piece of sandpaper and just sand a little bit on them. Wash them off again. Just, kind of scuff the surface a little bit and paint them. That's about as good as it gets. And again, like I said, I'll take a file to that dog. Well, I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a minute, after I get them pulled and get them washed off. So we'll be back. Alright, so we got them pulled out, we got them rinsed off, washed them with a little bit of soap and water. And it looks like they did change a little bit. Maybe if I'd have left them a few more days it would have worked. I don't know, I'm just anxious to get them done. So we're going to go ahead and pull them. And now, like I said, we'll just prep this surface with a piece of sandpaper. You don't even have to do that if you don't want to. Just make sure it's completely dry. Let them air dry first, of course. And then take them and primer them, paint them. Whatever kind of paint you want to use. You're going to mask that smell before you ever use the trap. So maybe we'll do a video on that one day, on how we do it anyways. I know a lot of people like to use urine and fur, and we don't. We just smoke them. So, but you can see this spring right here compared to this spring, it's obviously two different kinds of material they used. And these are the Dukes. I don't know if I've said that or not. So this next part's just gonna be for the Duke traps. If you have a different kind of trap, chances are you spent a little bit of money on it. You're not gonna have to do things like this. But this dog, I just wanted to show you what I mean by fouling. You see how this is gonna be your weakest setting, strongest setting, middle setting. So this is going to be your most sensitive setting right here, but you see how there's kind of a little hook on the end of that, right there. It just hooks out a little bit, We're just going to follow that little hook down, and then there's a little bit of one on the middle setting. We're just going to follow that out, make sure it still works correctly before we use it, of course. That's it. That's all we're going to follow down on this. And it should work properly, and it'll work out of the box the way it is. It's just how many times has it not been sprung, you know what I mean? If you take those little hooks out with a file, you don't have to worry about that. If something hits it, it's going to spring the trap. So that's how we do it. Like I said, primer, paint, done. I don't know what's the deal with the different springs here. Definitely different kind of material, I believe, anyways. There's no reason for this to be the only piece of steel that turned black, and everything else is kind of gray, and that's why I think it may have worked if I wouldn't let it go a little bit longer. But we're just going to go pick up some paint. I'm going to go ahead and paint them. So that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, YouTube.